Hi, this is Kelly from paperbeadrollers.com. Now today we're going to be rolling a scalloped paper bead. So what's really unique about this bead is just what it says. The edges are scalloped. This creates a neat layered textured effect when you get done on the outside of your paper bead. You are going to love it. So let's get started. For this project, you'll need just a few tools and supplies. I'm going to use 3 different sizes of paper bead rollers. Now, if you purchase them from paperbeadrollers.com, you'll need the yellow, the blue, and the green. That's the 5/32, the 1/8, and the 5/64 sizes. You'll also need some regular white glue, a hardening glaze such as diamond glaze, a paintbrush, and a skewer or toothpick. The edges on the strips are what makes these beads so beautiful. They're scalloped, and when the scallops overlap, it creates an interesting pattern that looks reminiscent of flower buds or even fish scales a little bit. This works with pattern paper, but if you really want the natural scallop design to shine, use solid colors to show it off. I designed these strips on the computer, and every scallop has a different measurement, so I'll explain how I did it, but giving the exact measurements would be very complicated. Now you can get these templates as a digital download pack at paperbeadrollers.com. It includes printable PDFs that you can print on your home printer and manually cut out, and it also includes SVG files that work in most cutting machines. Now I've included all 7 sizes, set up for both 8.5 by 11 and 12 by 12 paper. If you want to attempt to make your own, here is my best advice. Now you're basically creating overlapping circles, and each circle gets incrementally smaller as it gets toward the tip. So if you have one of those like compass tools that can draw perfect circles, you might be able to make this work without doing it digitally. Here are the lengths and widths of each strip included in the digital download pack. Now I'm measuring the widths as the widest point of the first scallop. The largest strip is 1 3/4 inches wide and 11.5 inches long. 1.5 inches wide by 10 inches long. 1 1/4 inches by 8 3/4 inches. 1 inch by 7 inches. 3/4 inches wide by 5 inches long. 1/2 inch by 3.5 inches. And the smallest one is 1/4 inch by 1 3/4 inches long. The solid colors you see here is 65-pound cardstock, but pattern paper is often a bit lighter. It's the kind that you buy by the sheet from the racks at the craft store, so it's significantly lighter. I'm going to guess that what I have is about 55 pounds, but it didn't say, so I'm not positive on that. The lighter the paper, the thinner the bead. So I'm going to go ahead and roll a couple beads for you, some with the 65-pound cardstock and some with the lighter pattern paper so that you can see the difference. Because what's great about this design is that the weight of the paper doesn't matter. It's still going to come out looking wonderful no matter what paper you use. So how do you roll this bead? Well, you roll it like any other bead. Start by inserting the wide end into the slot and just roll. Now, if you're someone who is very careful and exact with their rolling, I'm going to warn you. This is going to drive you crazy. These scallops make the layers go in and out and over and under, and sometimes it's difficult to tell exactly where the center is. I'll do the smallest strip here on the micro cam so that you can see very clearly how this looks as I roll. Isn't this just the coolest texture on the finished bead? I've got all 7 sizes rolled and it's time to glaze. I'm using diamond glaze on mine. Now the ridges on this bead create a bit of a challenge. You want to be sure to fill in all of the creases, but don't goop up the glaze and create any high spots that will ruin the texture of the bead. I suggest doing one thin coat first, then coming back and doing at least one more coat over that. The more coats you put on, the less the texture will show through in the reflection on the glaze, but the lines of these edges will still be visible through the glaze. And there you go. 7 sizes of beautifully textured scalloped beads. In my next video, I'll show you how to use these beads to make a beautiful flower bud necklace and earring set. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and head over to the Paper Bead Fanatics Facebook group so that I can see pictures of all the wonderful things you're making. Happy rolling!